Hello and welcome. My name is Richard Anderson. Many of you may remember me as Oscar Goldman from the $6 Million Man television series. In the series, we and our viewers were fascinated by the potential of technology. Well, today what we dreamed of only years ago is possible with computers and the internet. Today we're going to talk about personal computers, known as PCs, and the internet. We'll be walking you step by step through everything you'll need to know to get started. It's no secret that computers and technology has changed our lives forever. From large mainframes in the 50s and 60s that covered a city block, to the 90s with small Palm PCs, which, as the name implies, fits in the palm of your hand. Nowhere else in history has such incredible progress been made. Microsoft is a big part of this industry, and this program today is part of the Senior Initiative, which informs seniors on the exciting possibilities of technology. The goal is to enhance community, creativity, and employability. Technology can help you make more informed decisions about travel, healthcare, more closely manage your finances, stay in touch with friends and family, or even get more involved in the political process. This seminar is one of the many programs that Microsoft has created to increase computer and internet literacy. More and more older adults are discovering the exciting possibilities available to them by using today's technology. Did you know that seniors spend more time online than any other age group? Today, millions of seniors are using computers at work and at home. They communicate with family and friends via electronic mail, otherwise known as email. They find information on topics such as travel, hobbies, and investments. They develop skills and create resumes to enhance their employability, and they get involved in their community and politics. The opportunity for learning are only limited by your imagination. First, I'll tell you about the basics of personal computers and what all the different parts are. We'll talk about software, what it is, and how you can use it. I'll show you some of the great things you can do, like writing letters, creating greeting cards, managing your money, or exploring the world. Then, for those of you who are curious about the internet, we'll explore what it is, how you connect to it, and what it enables you to do, such as tracking investments or finding jobs online. I'll bet you feel that you need to learn an entirely new language to use a computer. Not true. Using a computer is a lot like, well, driving your car. You don't need to know exactly how your car works or what the parts are called to be able to drive it, right? Just like your car, you don't need to understand every little piece of your computer or know a lot of technical jargon in order to use it. You just need to know a few basics to feel more confident and competent when you sit in front of that screen. And like cars, computers are getting more comfortable to use all the time. Now, to get you started and give you some confidence, I'd like to introduce you to some of the basics. Knowing a few of these things will help you feel more comfortable with computers and the internet. And if you don't remember all the terminology at the end of the seminar, that's okay. We have additional information for you to reference later. Today, we are demonstrating and using Windows-based PCs. If you're planning on using an Apple Macintosh, much of what we are showing will be the same. Desktop computers are the most common. A typical desktop computer setup may look like this. Besides desktops, there are laptops, also known as notebook computers. They can do all the things that a desktop computer can do, but are smaller and much more portable. If you're traveling or working on the road, you may want to consider buying a laptop computer. If you want to use your laptop at home, you can hook it up to a regular-sized monitor, keyboard, and mouse. Now, let's go over the various hardware components of a computer. First, there's the Central Processing Unit, or CPU. Usually it's just called the processor. Think of this as the brain of the computer. And the CPU also has a speed associated with it. So when you see ads for computers, often you'll see a number next to the word, megahertz. Megahertz refers to the speed of the CPU. The higher the number, the faster the computer will be. Next is the monitor, always in color these days, and you'll be amazed how sharp they are. We recommend a 17-inch monitor for best visibility. And while the bigger monitor is always preferable, The dot pitch, which refers to the clarity of the picture, is just the opposite. The lower the dot pitch number, the better. There are new monitor types being developed all the time, such as this very thin monitor. It's called a flat screen LCD monitor. While they're more expensive, they save space and are usually of better quality. One of the ways you communicate with your computer is through the keyboard. It's laid out like a typewriter. There's a 10-key pad for doing number entries. There are also other keys you can use to give your computer instructions. For example, the Enter key is like the Return key on a typewriter that can take you to the next line. The Page Up and Page Down can take you to the top or bottom of the page. Printers are for making paper copies of what you see on your screen. For quality printing, I'd recommend an inkjet type of printer or laser printer. Most people choose color inkjet type of printers because they're wonderful for printing out greeting cards, pictures, or other home publishing projects. The quality is outstanding and the prices are very affordable. Computers now offer the ability to play music, record voices, and play movies. Most systems come with speakers, just like the ones on your home stereo, but much smaller. And last is the mouse. We use the mouse to point at things on the screen and click the buttons of the mouse to accomplish tasks. The monitor, the keyboard, the printer, the speakers, and the mouse are all connected to the central processing unit, the CPU, or in other words, the brain. All of these physical pieces of your computer are referred to as hardware. If you decide to buy a computer, you should know a little more about CPU. Remember, I said that it's the brain of your computer. Now, there are 3 parts to your CPU. Now, the first part is the microprocessor, also known as the computer chip. The chip is like your computer's engine. The faster your chip processes information, the better. You may have heard of Intel's Pentium chip, or maybe other brands like AMD or Cyrex. The second important component of your CPU is the RAM, or Random Access Memory. You can think of RAM as your workspace, where you put all the tools that you need when you're working on a specific project. The bigger your workspace, the more tools you can have out for easy and quick access. RAM receives input from your keyboard and your mouse, and then stores information that's needed by your CPU. The more RAM your computer has, the more it can do. The third part of your CPU handles data and software storage, and it's called the hard drive. Think of the hard drive as your storage closet. All your tools are stored here, along with any projects that you want to keep or save. And as you work with your computer, you create documents such as, well, letters and other files that you want to save. They're stored on your hard drive. All of your software programs stay on the hard drive too. So the bigger your hard drive, the more documents and software programs you can store on your computer. In summary, the brain of your computer consists of 1, microprocessor, the engine, 2, the RAM, the workspace, and 3, the hard drive, your storage closet. Sometimes you may want to move information to a different computer. For this, you would use a portable disk for storage of your files. Some examples are the 3.5-inch disk, the zip disk, CD-ROMs, and DVDs. The most common type of external storage is the writable 3.5-inch disk. Writable means that you can put information onto the disk. You insert the disk into the disk drive. Once it's in there, your computer can save information on it or read information from it. When you take out the disk, you take out the information too. If you want to read or edit the information, just put the disk in the disk drive and any compatible computer. Just like you can watch or re-record a videotape and use it or re-record on it with any other VCR. Say you are working on a project at the library computer lab. but the library is going to be closed for the holidays. Instead of stopping work until the library reopens, you can put your work on a disk and take it to the computer anywhere, such as a senior center or your grandchild's house. Another common writable storage device is the zip disk. A zip disk can hold much more information than the 3.5-inch disk. A zip disk drive is standard on some computers, but can also be purchased separately. To give you an idea of how much storage space we're talking about, say you write one page of your memoirs on a computer. The capacity of all disks is measured in megabytes or megs. The higher the number of megabytes, the more storage space available. The capacity of a 3.5-inch disk is a little over 1 megabyte. It can hold about 1 paperback novel. The capacity of a zip disk is about 100 megabytes, holding up to 100 paperback novels. Now there's another drive in the computer called the CD-ROM drive. CD-ROM stands for Compact Disc Read-Only Memory. Read-only memory means that it's not writable. It works like a regular music CD player. In fact, you can even play music CDs on your computer. CDs generally come with large software programs on them, including pictures, sounds, and video clips. This little disc will hold the contents of approximately 1,200 paperback novels. For comparison, a hard drive is measured in gigabytes. There are 1,000 megabytes in a gigabyte. Today's standard 8 gigabyte hard drive can hold up to 8,000 paperback novels. That's a lot of writing. But then again, you're writing your memoirs. Many computers now come with DVD-ROM drives in place of the usual CD-ROM drive. DVD discs look just like CDs, but they can contain up to 13 times the information of a normal CD-ROM. This means you could store up to 15,600 paperback novels on one tiny disc. Many feature-length movies are now available on DVD, with better picture and sound quality than that of standard VHS tape. Different versions of the same movie can be contained on one DVD. This could be the theatrical version, a version with subtitles, and a version edited for children under 17. As another example, there is a complete encyclopedia for your computer with thousands of pictures, sounds, and video clips called the Encarta Reference Suite. It normally comes on 5 CDs, but can be contained on just one DVD. And with either the CD or DVD, you sure save a lot of space compared to encyclopedias. The last piece of hardware in this section is the modem. It's a piece of equipment that allows your computer to talk to other computers. The modem plugs into a regular phone jack with a telephone cord. That way your computer can dial up other computers and you can choose information to share with them over the telephone line, just as you can when you call your family. Most new computers come with what's called a 56K modem. 56K represents the speed of the modem, or how fast you can send and retrieve information. And there are new technologies out there with even faster access to the internet: ISDN, DSL, and cable lines. Call your phone or cable company for information about these. So, let's wrap up the computer hardware. 1. The processor, the brain of your computer. 2. The monitor, the viewing screen. 3. The keyboard, the enhanced typewriter. 4. The speakers, to hear sounds and music clips. 5. The mouse, used to point, click, and make things happen. 6. The RAM, your workspace. 7. Your hard drive, the storage closet. 8. The disk drive and the zip drive for writable external portable storage. 9. The CD-ROM and DVD-ROM drives for externally stored programs and multimedia. And finally, the modem, which allows you to connect to the internet. Now, as for plugging in all the parts, it's easy. PC manufacturers now provide color-coded cables so you can distinguish where each part plugs into the computer. And remember, if you are a Windows PC user or a Mac user, everything we have discussed applies to both. Now, I have a couple of friends of mine named Sam and Gloria who are just starting to learn about computers. So before we move on, let's see how they set up their first computer. I think you'll be surprised to see how easy it is.
You know, I think we're going to need another seminar.
Oh, honey, I don't think so. It's supposedly easy to connect because everything's color-coded.
You're right.
You know, Sam, it's amazing. Even you and I can put this together. There's no experience needed.
All we have to do is take this line that's connected with the phone jack and plug it into the computer, and we are ready to sign up for internet service.
That's as easy as plugging in your telephone.
Well, turn it on.
Okay.
Now let's move on to software basics. There are two types of software: operating systems and applications. The operating system is the basic set of instructions your computer needs in order to run. It tells your computer what to do when you flip the on switch and what to do when you signal that you want to use a certain application. The operating system is running behind the scenes the entire time, helping you accomplish everything you're doing. For today's discussion, we're going to talk about the Windows 98 operating system. Microsoft has worked hard to make Windows 98 the most friendly experience ever. Now, there are basically two parts of the screen we will be using: the desktop, the screen you see now, and along the bottom of the screen is the taskbar. It helps you find your way around. You can see which programs you have open, and you can move back and forth between them. On the far left of the taskbar is the Start button. This is a great tool to use to quickly start a program, to find a website, or a file that you have saved. To give instructions to your operating system, you use the mouse. There are many different types of mice, including this IntelliMouse and this trackball. The trackball supports your hand in a natural position while you control the pointer without moving your wrist or arm. The important thing is to choose the one that works the best for you. Each mouse gives instructions to your computer the same way. When I roll my mouse along the tabletop, the arrow on the screen moves in the same direction. When I hold the arrow over the item, a small note may appear telling me what the item is or what it does. Most mice have two buttons on them. By clicking the left mouse button, and by clicking, I mean pressing the button down and releasing it quickly, I select or highlight an item on the screen. These little pictures with titles on them are called icons. They are symbols for the things you want to do. You'll get the hang of the technique quickly. It's just like, well, learning to drive. As a matter of fact, playing solitaire or golf on the computer is a great way to practice your mouse skills. Another popular and handy feature is the scroll wheel. It makes it very easy for reading long documents with lots of pages on the internet. To start an application, I point to Start with my mouse arrow. Press and hold the left button with my index finger and move the arrow up to whatever program I want to open. When I reach the program I want to open, I release the button. Voila, it starts. Whenever I have an application open and running on my computer, a button representing it appears on the taskbar. I can easily move between open applications by clicking on the buttons. When I want to close one or shrink it back to the taskbar, I use the little button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Clicking on the X closes an application, and clicking on the dash sign shrinks it down to the taskbar. When you need help, the taskbar is the fastest way to get there. Whenever you have a question about how to do something, you can go to the Help feature for answers. The Help feature is a collection of step-by-step explanations for all kinds of things, and you don't need to know a lot of technical jargon to use it. Here's something new to show you. Notice as I click once on an icon, it is automatically highlighted. I can double-click my left mouse button to open my computer. If I click on the C drive, Windows 98 produces information about the size of my hard drive and how much space I have left. I'm going to open my documents to show you how helpful this preview feature can be. I get a thumbnail preview that makes it easier to find the document I'm looking for, especially if I've forgotten the name of the file. For example, if I select this file by moving the arrow to it and clicking it once with the left mouse button, I'll see a picture. This is one of the ways Windows 98 makes it easier to find information. One of the true benefits of technology is that it continually provides new ways to customize applications so they meet the unique needs of nearly anyone. To easily set up these and other accessibility options, you can use the Accessibility Wizard. Say I wanted to make my screen easier to read. I select the option to use Microsoft Magnifier and large titles and menus. The changes are made automatically. And this feature at the top of the screen is called the magnifier. As you see me move my mouse below, the window follows with a magnified view. It's great for people like me who often use glasses. Now, one of the things that the operating system allows you to do is run software applications. Think of these as tools that allow you to accomplish tasks or projects such as writing a resume, creating a greeting card, or managing your finances. One of the first things most people use their new computer for is word processing. Word processing is used for creating resumes, letters, and other documents on the computer. And it's much easier, more efficient, and more versatile than using a typewriter. There's no wasted paper, and you can change your words as many times as you want. You can have a variety of type styles called fonts, and you can even add pictures. Now, let's write a letter, and we're going to use the application Microsoft Word, which comes as part of Microsoft Office. Now, let's say you wanted to write a letter to your congressperson in support of an issue. First, let's open Microsoft Word. After Word is opened, you can use the Letter Wizard to help you choose the look or format of your letter. Word even remembers standard information like your address the next time you want to update this letter. Once you've finished with the wizard, you have the start of a beautiful letter. More help is available if you need it. This is called the Office Assistant. When you need help, simply click the Office Assistant icon. Now let's ask the Office Assistant how to make the text I'm typing larger. I type my question in plain English, and Help tells me the answer. You can close Help the same way you close other windows on your computer. Click on the X in the upper right-hand corner. Let's say I already have a complete version of this letter saved on the hard drive of my computer. I'll use the File menu to get the completed letter from the list of files that are saved on my hard drive. I just click on File and then click on the name of the document. Now remember, clicking on something just means pointing with the arrow and pressing the left mouse button once. Double-clicking means pressing twice quickly on the left mouse button. But don't worry if it takes a while to get the hang of that part. It just takes a couple of minutes of practice. Now, let's use the spelling and grammar feature in Word to check my work. To do this, simply click the ABC check icon on the toolbar. Word then scans the document, highlights any spelling and grammar mistakes it finds, and makes suggestions to correct them. It's that easy. You don't need to stop writing, pull your dictionary off the bookshelf and look up the spelling of the word, or worry that you might overlook a typographical error. Once you have completed your document, save it to the hard drive or the 3.5-inch disk. Now we can print our letter by using the mouse to click on the print icon at the top of the screen. Looks just like our screen. You know, there are a lot of other fun things to do with your computer, one of which is home publishing. You can use these programs to create calendars, invitations, greeting cards, and more. Another popular software category you may want to check out is a multimedia encyclopedia. Multimedia has expanded in recent years to include not just text, but also sounds, pictures, and video. This particular program is called Encarta. Encarta is an encyclopedia available on CD-ROM and DVD-ROM with great features that you'll enjoy. And it's a terrific learning tool. This comprehensive encyclopedia includes more than 40,000 articles, 30,000 video clips, music clips, photographs, and links out to the World Wide Web. You can't get that kind of experience with your printed encyclopedias. With just this one program, you have access to a huge amount of information. A multimedia encyclopedia is a great learning tool, and it's quick and it's easy to use. Or how about the world of finance? Software packages such as Money allow you to budget and track your expenses, manage bills, or keep your eye on your investments. Money also allows you to do your banking online, which brings us to the internet. It seems like every other word you hear nowadays is internet. So, what is it? Well, the seeds for the internet were planted as early as 1945 with a system President Roosevelt's science advisor created that could store vast amounts of information. But it wasn't until 1968 that the Department of Defense developed a system in which computers could communicate directly with each other. It was conceived as a network of computers. In other words, multiple computers in several locations hooked to each other with cables, modems, and telephone lines. The advantage was, if one computer malfunctioned, other computers could detour around the problem and keep the information moving. In the late 70s, the internet was no longer restricted to the Department of Defense, and universities joined in to create a tool to share research and other academic and scientific information. Today, the internet is a vast repository of information. With it, you can send letters via email, discuss topics of interest, order products, or even create your own website for all the world to see. Think about it. Not more than 5 years ago, the internet had between 100 and 200 websites and 50,000 people using it. Today, there are over 1 million websites with over 70 million users worldwide. Now, to put it in perspective, when radio was introduced, it took 34 years to reach 50 million homes. TV only took 14 years. But it's only taken 4 years for the internet to reach the same number of users. To connect to the internet through your modem, you'll need to sign up with an internet service provider. It's like setting up your power or gas service. You can't get gas or electricity in your house until you've called these companies to activate your service. That's what you'll have to do here. You need to set up an access account separate from your regular telephone plans, but using the same phone line. There are many national and local internet service providers. In fact, there are over 4,000 internet service providers around the world. Just look in the phone book or ask a friend for a reference. And most internet service providers have local access numbers for your area, so you don't have to worry about long-distance charges. And once you dial into the network, you are free to travel to any other computer on the network, no matter if it's in Santa Fe or Singapore. Accessing this wealth of information is easy. On your computer, you'll have a web browser. You can find it either as an icon on your desktop or by using the Start button. This blue E is the icon for the web browser software I'll use today. It's called Internet Explorer, and it's part of Windows 98. The web browser allows you to view any information or website on the Internet. The website is a self-contained unit of information about a particular subject. The first page or screen you come to on a website is called the home page. The home page is similar to a magazine cover or a table of contents in that it usually tells you what you're going to find on the site. Each website has a specific address, so just like finding a house address, you need to know the internet address you want to go to. You have probably seen or heard about web addresses like Microsoft.com. These addresses are also called URLs, or Universal Resource Locators. Most web addresses contain the prefix www, which stands for World Wide Web. These addresses usually end in .com. The dot is simply a period, and the com indicates that they are links to commercial sites. Non-commercial websites have a different ending. For example, most schools and universities have web addresses that end in .edu, which is short for education. Government sites generally have .gov as an ending, and organizations usually end in .org, and networks end in .net. Now, don't worry if you don't know the address of where you want to go on the web, or you can't guess the address. For that service, we can turn to something called a search engine. Perhaps you've heard of Yahoo, or Excite, or Lycos. These are websites that help you search the entire web for what you're looking for. One thing you'll see a lot of are words that are highlighted in blue and underlined, better known as a link. You can just single-click on that link, and off you go, right to the page. Websites often have more than one screen or section. These screens are called web pages. These pages also may have links to other pages in the same site, or to other sites on the Internet. But you choose where you want to go. I mentioned money a minute ago. On the Money website is a link to a site called Investor. Investor makes it easy to keep track of your stock portfolio, and you can even have your favorite stock quotes active on your screen. Let's add another stock to this display. I wonder how GM is doing these days. Clicking on Custom brings up the ticker box, which allows you to personalize it for your own stocks and securities with the same live updated data that your broker has. We'll add GM to our list, and now we have a stock ticker with both Microsoft and GM running across our screen. You know, when I'm at the OSI working on the $6 Million Man project, travel is a big part of my life. I use sites on the Internet, such as Expedia, that lets me search for and buy airline tickets, takes care of hotel reservations, and I can even buy tickets online with my credit card. Many of you may be concerned about using your credit card over the Internet, but let me ask you a question. Have you ever eaten in a restaurant and handed the waiter your credit card? How many of you have used the telephone to order items from a catalog or an infomercial on TV? Well, it's actually safer to use the PC for these types of credit card transactions because your number is transferred electronically, so no humans ever have access to your information. Of course, PCs are not the only way to access the Internet. New devices are coming on the market all the time, which provide Internet access. One of these services you may have heard about is Web TV. Web TV service provides an enhanced television experience and allows you to view Internet sites as well as send and receive email. Devices that use the Web TV service communicate through your telephone lines, and uses your own TV as your display screen. A remote control unit and keyboard is used for inputting information, just like the remote control on your television. In the last 10 or so minutes, we visited a few different sites on the internet. That's a small sample of the wonderful and interesting places you can visit to gather information on just about any subject you can imagine. Let's check in on Sam and Gloria and see how they're doing online.
Are you still on the computer? I want to check on some of my investments on the internet.
Well, you know, Julie called us this morning and she gave us her email address, so I'm doing my first email off to our daughter, the world traveler. You know, I thought I'd ask her if she's got a weekend free and maybe we can go down and visit her.
Great, great. But let's do some research first on the internet and find out the latest travel rates.
That sounds like a good idea. First of all, let me finish this. Hold on now. Email us back soon. Love, Mom. Okay, now all I do is I go up here and hit send, and there she goes. My first email.
Great. Now, let's get on the internet and check the travel websites.
Okay.
I can't believe we have this much information right in our living room. It's like having the whole world at your fingertips.
For today's purposes, we'll assume I have my Internet Access account, and I'll be using Outlook Express to create and send my email. Now, to send an email, you have to know the recipient's email address, just like when you send a letter through the post office. Now we just click the new mail message icon, and our email form opens up and is ready to be addressed. Type the email address such as seniors@microsoft.com, a subject, a short message, then just click the send icon and off it goes. It's easy to create and send email, and the delivery time is fast too. 85% of all email is delivered within 5 minutes. Now let's check back in on Sam and Gloria and see how it's working for them.
Seems like all we get are bills and junk mail. Not even a card or letter from the kids. Doesn't anybody write anymore?
It's the 90s, Sam. It's all email now. You know, I gave our email address to a couple of our friends already, so maybe we'll start hearing from them soon.
Oh, have you checked the email lately?
Actually, I was going to go into Outlook because I wanted to see if Julie had answered us about visiting. You want to go take a look and see if she
Sure.
did? Okay.
Let's see what we have.
Okay.
Oh, our stockbroker,
Okay.
your garden club.
Uh-huh. Oh, here we go. Right up here. There's Julie.
Dear Mom and Dad, glad to hear you're coming to visit. About 3 weeks from now, we should be free then, and we'll have your room ready. By the way, I've attached a picture of your grandson. Isn't he cute? Talk to you soon. Of Julie.
Look at him. It's better than a postcard, Sam.
He's adorable. Is he growing?
I guess so.
Wow. Hey, let me reply.
Okay, let's scoot over here then.
Dear Julie, that weekend works for us. In fact, we're buying our tickets on the internet. Love, Dad. Ta-da.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Can you believe what we have learned in just 1 week of owning this? This is great.
A lot. This is fun.
It is.
Cool.
The kinds of tasks that you've seen here today are just a few of the hundreds of things you can do with a computer. If you're thinking about buying a computer but still want assurance, you can test drive or receive training at organizations like SeniorNet and Green Thumb, as well as many senior centers, community colleges, and over 10,000 public libraries. Microsoft has joined forces with libraries across the country to make computers and software more readily available for you to use. Some of these libraries may even have dedicated hours for new users. Contact your local library or one of these other organizations to see if it is participating in this program. If you do decide to buy a computer, keep these 3 golden rules in mind. 1, get as fast and powerful a computer as you can afford. 2, only buy a computer that can be easily upgraded, a computer that can be modified as new technologies emerge. And 3, make sure the computer meets the minimum standards of the day. If you get a computer that meets minimum standards, you can do everything we did here today. To learn more about computing, there are how-to books available through libraries and retail stores. Microsoft Press is a great source for books and interactive computer training programs. And don't forget about classes available in your community and websites like microsoft.com/seniors for learning opportunities. Another form of help is in the software itself on your computer. Or maybe hire a high school or college student, or perhaps your grandchild to give you one-on-one advice. Not only can this teach you computing, but you can learn from each other. Here's an example of how such a program worked in one group in Washington.
Many of our seniors were intimidated by the whole concept of computers, the language, what is email, what is a mouse, but they were also very curious about the possibilities of computer technology. Our seniors really wanted to learn email, they wanted to communicate with their family and friends, they wanted to explore the World Wide Web, and they were very interested in learning job skills. Our seniors rallied support from all over the community. Service clubs such as the Lions Club, corporations like Microsoft, nonprofit agencies like Habitat for Humanity, and government agencies like Medicare.
Microsoft was really excited about this program because what we found is that how technology as a tool brought multiple generations together.
The response from the community was overwhelming.
I read a book and it said if you want to know anything about computers, go to your local high school. And that's when I found out about the class they were offering.
Some of them had a hard time using the mouse, and others didn't really know what kind of the basic things were, so you had to kind of repeat what the basic things were.
First, I hated the mouse.
When they're willing to learn like Victor is, it's really fun.
Yeah, this is really great. This is more than I expected.
My brother didn't write to me for 17 years. And now I've had 4 letters from him since on the internet.
I did this family history on the genealogy, the pedigree chart. Then we compiled a book of one town in New Hampshire, and it's published and this is in the Seattle Public Library now.
I didn't want to let the technology get past me because, I don't know, communication-wise, it's a marvelous thing.
I said, well, Jeremy, I know a lot more about Publisher than I did yesterday, and Jeremy said, so do I.
And also, you can do so much. You don't have to go to the library. You know, if you want to check a word, you can look it up in the dictionary in the computer.
We're going to install Windows 98?
Oh, yes, we are. Okay. Pick your C drive, and it's going to take about 30 to 60 minutes, and we can go to lunch, and it should be done when we come back.
All right.
Let's go.
Okay.
Our computer program has been an incredible success. It's been a wonderful opportunity to showcase computer technology.
And what this is really about is how individuals can reach their full potential through the use of technology.
Remember that the hardest thing is making the decision to start. Once you make up your mind, you'll find how easy it is to do everything you ever wanted to do on your computer. In no time, a new world, actually the whole world, will be right there at your fingertips. Well, thank you for watching. I hope we've been able to illustrate some of the possibilities available to you in this new world of technology. And you just can't wait to dive right in.